published, 1847 Eastern Standard Time, 5 January 2018, updated, 1849 Eastern Standard Time, 5 January 2018. Tony Pulis had not long sat down, but he was nearly on his feet again when it was put to him for a second time that he specialises in firefighting in the Premier League. The point being made was that his latest challenge at second-tier Middlesbrough is different to his most recent posts at West Brom and Crystal Palace. "I have been promoted out of every league in England," he shot back. "I have been to an FA Cup final and the last throes of the UEFA Cup. I have not just spent my life at the bottom of the league fighting relegation." Tony Pulis, left, has become fed up of being labelled a Premier League relegation specialist. Pulis, sacked by West Brom in November, was linked with a Swansea job before he accepted the offer from Borough owner Steve Gibson last month. "So was he sick of those firefighting roles?" "Yes," he said, after a pause. "You get pigeonholed in life, you have to accept that. But I think the biggest appeal was that Steve had spoken very similar to Peter Coates at Stoke all those years ago." The Middlesbrough boss was sacked by West Brom in November and turned down Swansea. He was fed up of change. He wanted stability at the club. He wanted someone he could trust and leave to get on with the job and wouldn't moan or groan. "Everywhere I've been, if I'm given the time, I've started to get the engine moving and I'd love to be able to start something here." Pulis also had a conversation last month with the Welsh FA over their managerial position, vacated by the man he comes up against at lunchtime on Saturday, Sunderland boss Chris Coleman. Pulis has been labelled as a firefighter but dismissed the claims, pointing to his achievements having been involved in an FA Cup final and reaching the latter phases of a UEFA Cup. "I'm 60 next birthday and still think I am young enough to do this for another 5 or 6 years at least," said Pulis. "Then I will look at the part-time jobs." That was not meant as a dig at Coleman, although Pulis' compatriot could be forgiven for wishing he had stayed on with Wales. Coleman has no money to spend and has only 11 fit senior players for their FA Cup third-round tie at the Riverside Stadium. Whereas Pulis has inherited a squad which should be challenging for automatic promotion and has a chairman in Gibson who ranks as one of the best in the land, Coleman is still to exchange a single word with Sunderland Supremo Ellis Short, who wants to sell the club. The Black Cats are bottom of the Championship and there is every chance that defeat would not be mourned too greatly. Coleman knows the size of his task. Pulis believes he has an opportunity to get something going at his new Championship side. "It needs cleansing here, for sure," he said, "but we have to be as positive as we can and that comes from me. We need to be on the front foot, as aggressive and bloody-minded as we can between now and when we get out of this mess. We get to the summer and, fingers crossed, we say, right, we have another chance now, a chance to clean it up a bit and start building again with little blocks. Sometimes I get a bit negative thinking about past mistakes here, but I can't get drawn into it. Looking back is not going to help us going forward." Middlesbrough face a struggling Sunderland side led by former Wales boss Chris Coleman. Coleman, however, is happy to look back on the parallels between himself and former Sunderland manager Bob Stokoe. Like Coleman, Stokoe took charge in November of 1972 with the team at the wrong end of the second division. By the end of the season they were FA Cup winners and climbed to 6th. "Football being football, you never know what can happen, do you?" he said. "I am not sitting here saying we are going to win the FA Cup, but we can go to Borough and win. After that, who knows who you get. Then can we stay in this division too?" "Absolutely, I think we can." Asked if he owned any of Stokoe's famous apparel, Coleman joked, "I've got a raincoat, yes, but I'm afraid I don't have a trilby." Despite their woes, Coleman insists Sunderland can go to Borough and get the win.